Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So guys, I'm going to talk about Doomstar Magician in this video. It's a level 4 dark spellcaster monster. 1800 attack, 300 defense. Its effect reads, once per turn you can discard one card. Then target one card in either player's Pendulum Zone. Destroy that card, and if you do, draw a card. So yes, I do understand that Design Enigma just made a video about this card, but I had been planning this video for a couple of days now, and I haven't actually watched his video yet to get his opinions and views on the card. And plus, I mean, outside of the Burning Abyss, this is the most intriguing TCG exclusive in my opinion. So I think that this is one of those cards that's technically really good, but I don't think people will play it initially. Before we go into whether this card is going to be good and, you know, like upcoming formats, let's just look at the card at face value. It's a level 4, 1800 attack. Okay, so by my definition, that's good stats. Like, 1800 for a level 4 is basically, in my book, the gold standard. I mean, that's Stratos, that's Yamato, that's Laquari, that's Shura, the Blackwing, Blue Flame. You know what I mean? 1800 will generally get the job done. And then you look at the effect. Again, just look at it at face value. You discard any card in your hand. It doesn't have to be a monster or a trap or a spell or any of that nonsense. Anything that you want. You look at your opponent's Pendulum Zone, you target one card, and then you blow it up, and then if you do, you draw one. So basically, it's a +1 that disrupts your opponent's future Pendulum Summons. So I look at Doomstar Magician, and I'm like, okay, your stats are obviously really good, and your effect is really good too. So why do I believe that people are going to be cool to this card initially? And I think it's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure that 99% of players out there wanted this to be a quick effect, which would have been fine because it just would have ended up getting limited during the next ban list. I mean, like, come on, people, let's be real about this. I know that quill parts are broken and they're going to be, you know, tier -500 and shit, but let's not kill the fucking mechanic 2 sets in. I mean, if Doomstar was a quick effect, the only question we'd be asking ourselves is how much does a playset cost? Because it would have been pretty much a side deck staple after New Challengers was released. And with that said, I still think that this card is worthy of play. Sure, in theory, you could believe that all people play is Odd Eyes, which destroys itself, thus it's not on the field anymore to be destroyed by Doomstar, or Quillport Tool, which completes the Pendulum Scale on one turn and just lets you immediately Pendulum Summon. But things don't always work like that. Like, that doesn't always come to fruition. That's pretty much an ideal situation. I look at Doomstar and I think, okay, if your opponent does set up their full scale and they attempt to Pendulum Summon, it's not always going to go off without a hitch. I mean, that's just not Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not realistic to think like that. You know, there's Bottomless Trap Hole, Torrential Tribute, Needle Ceiling, Space-Time Trap Hole, which just was released. And by the way, that I mentioned that half of the cards I just fucking mentioned are searchable. Again, nobody plays Trap Chicks Marmilla, right? So yeah, I'm pretty sure that people are going to have those cards at some time, and they're going to be able to stop your Pendulum Summon, and then you can immediately be in a position to counter with Doomstar. I mean, you just summon it, then you discard any card in your hand, and you crack their scale, and you go +1 at the same time. So I look at this card, and I'm like, if it's not an ideal situation, this card's actually going to be really good at being a counter to the Pendulum mechanic. Like, let's just say, for example, the Quillport player goes first, right? They've got 5 cards. Obviously, somehow they get the Tool. They play Tool, and then they get, I don't know, like Archive. They've got their full Pendulum Scale plus 4 cards. Alright, so you're going first, you're going to Pendulum Summon. You know, the odds of you having Killer in your hand plus, like, you know, 2 monsters in the equipped or 3 monsters is, I mean, to me, that seems like that's probably not going to happen very often. Or you could Pendulum Summon a couple of cards and exceed, but, like, exceed into what? I mean, what's really going to be threatening against open field and 6 cards when you have no idea what the hell your opponent is playing? Let's say it's game 2. Again, what generic rank 4 like actually does anything? You know what I mean? Like, what is actually going to be intimidating? What's going to inhibit, or, you know, what's going to actually stop my plays? I mean, what in that situation stops me from simply saying, okay, summon Doomstar, pitch, blow up a card? I mean, I guess you could go Giant Hand, but that doesn't really seem like an optimal play to just like randomly summon a Giant Hand. What I'm saying is, if Quillports are going to go first, chances are they're going to want to set up their Pendulum Scale. You know what I mean? Unless they drop Killer on you, which obviously you're just in deep shit. There's going to be adequate time to play this card. You know, even if they exceed, they're probably not going to exceed into anything that's overly powerful you're going to be able to play this card. You're going to be able to, if nothing else, temporarily crack their scale. You're going to draw another card, so you're basically doing it for free, and you're probably going to be able to draw more defensive options. I look at this card, and again, I think that people are going to underrate the hell out of it. I think that this card is practical. I think that if it was a quick effect, it would probably end up getting limited super soon. And I think that this card is going to be really underrated for a while. So let me know what you guys think of Doomstar. Again, this card is just practical from basically every single angle. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And definitely check out my Kickstarter or I will quill off you. Subscribing makes life happy.